How's everybody doing? Good. I don't know what I did or if I said something wrong or whatever, but this pew right behind me, it's open. Like, I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with it. It won't break for you. Am I on? I'm on at it. I ain't too long. Yeah, so I haven't been in the shower the last 3 days or what it is, but y'all know I will shower tomorrow for sure. That's going to happen because I feel like everybody's afraid you're around. My own mom sat like 4 rows back. My goodness. So, it's good to see y'all. It is a blessing to be in here this morning. I'm not going to lie, I didn't know what to do last week when I didn't preach. Like, I had no idea what to do. And so, I seen Miss Joyce at the back, and Joyce said, I heard you had a surprise for us. I said, yeah, I might have one. And she said, I heard it's going to be, we get out here at 12 o'clock on the dot today. I said, no, that ain't going to happen. I didn't get preached last week, so I got 2 messages in me this morning. So now, we're going to be here for at least till 1. Will that work, Miss Joyce? I mean, not too bad, is it? It's bad. I'm sorry. So, I'm excited that I've had this on my heart for the last couple of weeks, and I've been looking forward to bringing it to you. There it is. Does anybody like superheroes? Anybody like superheroes? I love superheroes. Like, I'm still a kid at heart. I don't know if y'all know that or not, but I act like a 3-year-old most of the time. Still way too loud than what I should be. I'm not as loud, I don't think, as Penny is. I found that out this week. I think at some point she has ate a megaphone, and now the parts have just become part of her. And when she I'm telling y'all, she saw birds fly the other day when she was yelling at us in the woods out there. It's time to eat! They heard you all the way over there in Wayne County. I love heroes, I do. I love superheroes. That's just me. I think one of the coolest things I love about superheroes is always, they always have sidekicks and stuff. They're raising up and training up and all that kind of stuff. I love that. Like, I think that's the coolest thing. Batman and Robin, and I'm all about that stuff. Like, if y'all haven't seen any of the Avengers movies, I don't want to ruin it, and it's sad that I can't ruin this, a lot of movies for you, but, there's so many good superhero movies out right now. And for a kid that was a nerd and, you felt nerdy for watching superhero stuff and, reading comic books and watching other stuff, it's kind of, rewarding now to go, I was way cool before all of y'all were, It's not true, but, it just makes you feel better that now everybody's watching them and doing it. But I've always loved that, hero and, mentor type dynamic. I've loved that. I think it's one of the coolest things. If they train somebody up to, replace him, Batman's not going to live forever, even though he's been around for how many years now, but he's not. He's going to die sometime. But he's training somebody up to take his place. What we don't see in church is we don't see a lot of that. And if we do see it, it's only from certain people, from one person or from main people as far as your pastors or other people. You don't see just many people taking somebody and pulling them to the side and just mentoring them, loving on them, taking time out of their schedule to say, you know what, I see some potential in you and I want to pull you aside. I think of Sunday school teachers. Have you thought about who is going to be the replacement for you as a Sunday school teacher? No, we're all going to die at some point. Have you thought about who could do this for me? We're coming up to, we're looking at new positions for the nominating stuff and all that kind of junk, and it's sad when you get looking around, and I'm being real this morning. Can I do that? I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but it might hurt a little bit. It's sad that you look around and you go, man, we need 2 or 3 more Sunday school teachers. You go, I don't know if we have any. And we need some more people for this position. You go, I can't think of anybody. And it's not people's fault. I blame myself. I blame us as leadership. Have we done a good job of discipling people? I don't think we have. I don't think we've done the things we should do to pour into people, to worry about when these positions come open, to have somebody that can step in and do these jobs and fill the roles of the church that we need. See, that's why as churches, a lot of the churches are passing away. Because generations have went on and we've not trained up this next generation. And when I say train up, I want to show you what I mean train up. I don't mean you just tell somebody what they need to do in their life. I'm talking you become part of their life. There's a big difference between what we think mentorship is, which is just to tell somebody what to do, which when I can really show you from Scripture, it's what we are supposed to do is when we become part of their life and they become part of our life. Penny asked me a few weeks ago, and I want y'all to know, I did not plan this kind of stuff. I know people may think that I plan stuff that well. I'm not that smart. I can tell you I'm not. Penny asked me a couple weeks ago, she said, Saul, you might want to talk to Titus about the difference between Elijah and Elisha. And I thought, I better go find out and remember the difference between the two of them, because it's been a while. And so I went back and I started reading about it. And can I show you how awesome Elijah was to Elisha? If you got your Bibles, we're going to be in 2 Kings chapter 2. But I'm going to start in 1 Kings. Y'all can go to 2 Kings. I'm going to start in 1 Kings. So if you feel lost for a second, I'm just going to catch you up on a little bit of the story and what happens this morning. Y'all ready? All right. So, Elijah has just called down fire from heaven. I mean, like, he called it down. Y'all remember that? Everybody remembers that story a lot. He was at Mount Carmel. He challenged the idolaters, the worshipers of Baal. He said, you bring the best you got, and I'll bring the best I got. So they come together. It's an awesome story. To me, that is probably one of the coolest stories in Scripture. If you don't know it, go read it. So they get this big, I'm talking like it is like a war between these people. You know, the Baals are trying to call down to get this drought to end, and they're calling and calling. Elisha's making fun of them. He goes, maybe your God's on the way to use the bathroom. Maybe you should chant louder. Like Elisha's talking smack, y'all. It's awesome. And then Elijah over here, he says, pour water on my altar. He says, pour water on it. He says, do it again, you know. So then he says, now I'm going to call down the thunder. And what's he doing? He prays, and God sends down fire, and it consumes the altar. It burns it up. It says to the stones it burns it up. It is awesome. Nothing left. And then Elijah kills the prophets of Baal. Awesome story. I like that. So then Elijah, he's running from Jezebel. He's running from these people that's pushing the idolatry. Now he's on the run. While he's on the run, though, you think he'd be consumed with a couple different things. One, staying alive. He has made a huge dent in this faith that has taken over Israel. He has called them out. He has challenged them, and he won. So now he should be very concerned just to stay alive. Like that should be his main concern is, I just want to stay alive. I don't want to die. I don't want these guys to capture me and get me. Well, that's not what God has in mind for him. God says, hey, listen, while you're on the run, I need you to do something for me. I need you to find your successor. I need you to find the person that's going to replace you when you die. Now, first off, if I'm Elijah, I'm thinking, well, obviously Jezebel gets me then. Like, I'm about to die. Like, if this is already the plan, like, I'm not going to make it very far. It's not true he does, though. So he goes and he finds Elisha, and this is where I want you to find the story, or I'm going to pick up the story at in 1 Kings. In 1 Kings chapter 19, he goes away, and he's on the run. He's finding out who Elisha is. He goes and he finds Elisha, and Elisha is pulling Elisha is one of the plowmen in the field with 12 other oxen. So they're in a row, and they're pulling this thing out, and you got 12 other guys, but Elisha waits for the other 12 to go by. When the other 12 go by and Elisha comes up, he throws his mantle on him, which is his cloak. He throws it on. And I just imagine in my mind, because like I said, I like heroes, I imagine like a Batman cowl. Like in my head, it was like a hooded thing that like he fell on. He was like, what is this thing? You know, and so he's got this cape on him, and Elisha listens, and he says, or Elisha says, you're my successor. You're to come follow me now. Like you're to come with me. Like it's not enough to just telling you my successor. Like now you need to come with me and like live life with me and like be my aid and all this kind of stuff. Elisha has one request. He says, well, can I go back and say goodbye to my mother and father? And he says, that's fine, but don't forget what you called to do. Don't forget what you said you were going to do, which is come with me and let me mentor you. Let me be that person. See, first off, what Elijah does is he sees potential in Elisha. And he seeks him out. See, that's the first thing that I don't think we do in churches. I don't think we truly seek people out. What I think we do is we wait for those people to come to us. We sit back and we say, well, let's let that person come in. Well, let's let this thing happen. Well, you know what? If they would do this, then that would be fine. Why is it, though, as a church sometimes that we don't go, hey, I see potential in so-and-so, and I'm going to start mentoring them. I'm going to start pouring my life into their life. And I'm not talking about mentor. You see, Elijah didn't just go up to him and say, hey, this is what it's like to be a prophet. It wasn't that. Elisha said, hey, come with me. Come with me. Come do life. He took him away from his mother and father. He said, you're coming with me. If you want to learn how to do this, you need to come watch me just do life. See, for a lot of us, we think that we need just to tell people what to do. Like we just need to, you know what? if we would just tell people how to live their life perfectly, and if we'll just send out this stuff and we'll just tell them and preach to them and all this, can I tell you, that's not enough. Can I tell you, words are empty sometimes. Words are sometimes, people don't hear them. Maybe it's because they've heard the words before. Maybe it's because they're tired of being preached at. I don't know. But I can tell you right now, for a lot of people, especially people my age, I'm 31, I'm getting old, but especially people my age, we turn deaf ears to words. Because we're older, we know everything. You've probably heard the sermon I'm preaching right now. And some of you go, well, I don't need to hear this anymore. Elisha had to come and do life with Elijah. Can I tell you something, Christians? We need to show people how to do life. Like, we need to take people and let them come and do life with us. I'm talking open up our homes, invite people in. Open up our homes to other families and invite other families in. And love on them and show them what life as a Christian means. Take people to lunch every once in a while. Can I ask you a question, church? And I know this may make you feel bad. You think, well, it's not that important. I think it is. When was the last time you went out of your way for somebody that you saw potential in and took time out of your schedule outside of a Sunday or a Wednesday to love on them? Like, when was the last time you called somebody and said, hey, can I take you to eat just so we can talk about faith? Hey, can we go do this together, spend some time together so I can just pour into you and just do life with you for a little while? You know what I found that I do more and more when I go eat with people? A lot of times it's not even talking about faith. I don't even bring up faith. What I end up doing is, and I just talk about life. Like, how's your life going, Johnny? What's going on with you, man? Everything good? Everything's going well for you? How's this going? People just want us to love on them sometimes. Some people just want you to take an honest investment in their life. That's what they want. You want to be a mentor to somebody? You want to see potential in somebody? Then invest in their life. Take time out of your life and go, I'm taking time out of my schedule, out of me time, which we are so bad, and take that out of you and go, I'm putting it now into this other person. I'm taking it away from what everybody thinks is the most precious, which is time, and now I'm giving it to somebody else to show them that not only do I just tell you that I love you, not only do I just tell you how to live, but I'm going to go live it beside you. That's where we fail. There are so many people that somebody else say, I see a lot of potential in them, and they've been at the church for years, and I go, well, what have you done to see them? It's like, well, not a whole lot. Have we ever discipled them? Like, have we ever took them outside of this time and, like, spent time with them, like, talked to them? Like, have you got to know their life outside of just maybe what you've heard, what you know? I don't think we do. And I know that's uncomfortable for some of us. Some of us are not like, look, I can go eat with anybody. I can. I'm a talker, y'all. I don't know when to shut up. I can go eat with anybody. But for some of us, that might make you feel uncomfortable. For some, that makes us feel uncomfortable to open up our lives, open up who we are, and to let somebody in. But you know why I think that is more than any? You know why I really truly think that is more than any? Because that really calls for the mentor to put some effort in. That really puts some weight on you then. It's easy to stand back over here on, our pedestals and just look and go, well, they need to do that, well, they need to do that, well, they need to do that, and if they could do that, then, there's some potential there, but they just need to fix that. That's easy to do this. What's hard is to get down and come down there and live with it and go, let me help you fix this. Let me talk to you. Let me spend time with you. Let me get to know you. Let me invest in your life. That's where we fall at. And the excuses run a list this long. I'm busy. I got no time. That's not me. You can't do that. You can't pick up the phone and call somebody. You can't go to somebody's house and visit with them. We're failing as churches in the fact of truly investing and mentoring in people's lives. We just want to stay on the surface. And I'm telling y'all, if you don't see it already, it ain't working. I mean, can you see it? Can you really see it? I mean, I see it. I struggle so much looking around and going, man, do we have the people, young people, do we have the young people that are ready to come in if something were to happen and step up into these roles and fill the roles of the church, or just fill the role, not even in our church, but just the roles and faith in general? Was there somebody to fill the role of like Billy Graham? Was there somebody to fill the roles of other pastors that stepped away from this church? That's where my heart's at, and that's where I get stuck at sometimes going, are we really investing in their lives, or are we just saying it? Or are we just saying that we love them? Are we just saying that we want to mentor and take, or are we really investing? Investing takes hardship. You don't think it was hard for Elisha to continue to run from Jezebel and Baal, the prophets, having another tag along with him? You don't think it was hard for him to maybe not think about just himself for a while, but to think about Elisha while he was on the run? Was it inconvenient? Sure. Was it hard? Sure. But he said it's worth it. Because they need somebody else to come along. They need somebody else to fill this role when I'm gone. There's some of you that I look around here and I look and I go, I wish you would pass on your talents to somebody else. I wish you would take somebody and just invest in them, love on them, let them, show them what it's like to live as a Christian. Not saying there's people in here that's perfect, because none of us are perfect. Are any of us perfect? But then that's what should show us to witness to these people more. Because if we was perfect, we'd have arrogance in us. But the fact that we're not as leaders, and the fact that we're not as spiritual leaders in the church, it should humble us to say, I'll go help them even when they're struggling. I'll go invest in them, even if they're swimming in sin. I'll still go along, because you know what? I was swimming in that same sin at one time. I still struggle in sin right now. That's what makes good mentors, is people that can relate. Man, invest in people. Man, open up to somebody. Truly invest in them. And this is where we're going to go now into 2 Kings. It's the first part of it. We've got 5 minutes. And it's 25 minutes left. This is where Elisha is going to take over. Elijah has known for a time that he's going to be that successor. The closing few chapters of 1 Kings is Elijah really pouring, or is Elijah pouring into Elisha, just loving on him and showing him all the different things. So now, beginning of chapter 2, or book 2 of Kings, now what happened is Elisha has just called down fire again. It's awesome. 50 people come back, he goes, put fire on. He just drops it on them. They send 50 more to kind of come and kill Elisha. Boom, drops fire on him again. Then the third 50 come and the guys finally get smart and they go, please don't kill us. Please don't drop that fire again. And he says, that's fine, but tell your king he is going to die in a short time. So a short time passes, the king dies, just like Elisha said. So now Elijah's at the end of his time. He knows his time's ending. It's been revealed to him. So now Elisha is kind of, it's weird how it goes down right here, but pick it up in chapter 2. It said, it came about when the Lord was about to take up Elijah by a whirlwind into heaven, that Elijah went with Elisha into Gilgal. Elijah and Elisha said to Elisha, stay here, please, for the Lord has sent me as far as Bethel. Now, so that's the weird part where it gets weird to me. You remember, like I said, just talked about it. See, he told him before, he said, come with me. Like, forsake your family, leave everybody, and you come with me. Don't you leave my side. Now, he's getting toward the end. He's getting toward the end of his life. He knows it's the end of his life, and he tells Elisha, he says, I'm going to go over here to Bethel. You just stay here. It's weird. It's like he's becoming standoffish. It's like he started trying to put some distance between him and Elisha. But Elisha answers with this, and he says, as the Lord lives, and as you shall live, I will not leave you. And so, of course, they go together to Bethel. And then the sons of the prophets who were at Bethel came to Elisha and said to him, do you know that the Lord will take away your master from over you today? And he said, yes, I know it, be still. What that means is that, yes, I know it, be still. What he means, he goes, yeah, I know it, dummy. Shut up. Don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. You don't think I already know that? You don't think there's already been some awkwardness right now between me and Elijah? You don't think it's been weird? Like there's been some So I don't know, I don't know what's going on, but something's going on with Elisha. I know he's about to leave. Don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that right now. So it goes on, and he says, Elisha said to him, Elisha, please stay here, for the Lord has sent me to Jericho. But he said to him, as the Lord lives, and as you shall live, I will not leave you. So they came and they went to Jericho. Again, he's trying to put distance between them. He says to the sons of the prophets who were at Jericho, approached Elisha, and he said to him, do you know that the Lord will take away your master? They were really rubbing this thing in. Hey, guess what? He's going to die. You're going to lose this person that is so close to you. And he says, yes, I know it. Be still. Then Elijah came to him and he said, please stay here, for the Lord is sending me to Jordan. And he says, as the Lord lives and as you yourself lives, I will not leave you. So the two of them went on. Now 50 men of the sons of the prophets went on the opposite side of the Jordan in the distance. And while the other two were stood at the Jordan, this is Elijah, the other two is Elijah and Elisha. So they're standing on one side of the Jordan, and they're on the opposite side of the other ones, and of the other 50 prophets and the sons. And Elijah took off his coat, the mantle that he tossed on Elisha. And he took off his mantle, and he folded it together, and he struck the water. And when they divided here and there, so that the two of them crossed on dry ground. So they're on the far side of the river. The 50 sons are on this side of the river. They've crossed it now, and they don't really know what's going on the other side. They don't really see what Elijah and Elisha is doing now. And it says, when they had crossed over, in verse 9, when they had crossed over, Elijah said to Elisha, ask what I shall do for you before I'm taken away. Now it's getting serious. And he followed him this whole time. And I keep wondering, like, why does he keep trying to put this distance? Why does he keep asking him to stay? And at the end here, he's asking him now, hey, look, time's coming that I'm going to go. And what do you want to ask of me? And I keep thinking, what if he wouldn't have went? Like, what if his master told him, said, you stay here, I'm going to go. And he'd have been like, okay, I'll stay here. Would this conversation not have happened? Would that have ever took place if he had just stayed? And when the several times that his master, the person he respected, said, stay here, don't come with me, if he would have stayed and not come with him? And he says, now that he's followed him there on the other side, Elijah asked Elisha, what is it that you want me to give you before I'm gone? I'm about to pass away, I'm about to leave this place, I'm about to be gone. What do you think is about to happen? This is what Elisha responds with. He said, please, he begs him, please, let just a double portion of your spirit be upon me. I don't know if you know the thing of double portion, but the firstborn always got a double portion serving, where if you were the firstborn, you got a double portion of the inheritance, you got a double portion of everything. The middle child, like me, just got, here you go. That was it. That's why the firstborns always love more. So, just for people that have multiple kids. Except for me. I was the best. So he's asking, he says, I want that double portion. He says, just give me that double portion of your spirit. That's what he's asking for. He says, I want double of what you had. I know you had a portion of the Spirit. Can I have double of the Spirit that you have? Give me that double portion blessing. I need that. And this is what he said to me. He says, what you have asked is a hard thing. Elijah says it's a hard thing. Nevertheless, if you see me when I am taken from you, it shall be so for you. But if not, it shall not be done so. He's saying, I don't know if I can do that. God's the one that blesses with the Spirit, not me. But I'll tell you this, if you see me go up in that chair, if you witness what's about to happen, I'll tell you God will bless you. If you see what's about to happen, if you take place and you see me go up like this, then you are going to be blessed. If not, sorry. And he says, as they were going along and talking, and I just wonder what they were talking about. Were they talking about maybe Elijah just pouring in his last bit of like knowledge, like his last bit of wisdom, like his last bit of maybe just like, I don't know, just, hey, it's going to be tough, but hang in there. Just giving his last few words of, you can do this. And then it happened. He said, then Elijah went up, he said in verse 11, as they were going along and talking, behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, which separated the two of them. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind to heaven. Elisha saw it and he cried out, my father, my father. Think about that. He left his father. He left his father and mother before he left. He had a real father, but when he left, because Elijah has poured so much into him because Elijah had gave so much of his life. I don't think he took the place of his father, but he instructed him as a father would. That as he saw him go, that person that just took time with him, he says, my father, my father. That's what he called Elijah. The chariots of Israel and its horsemen. And he saw Elijah no more. He was gone. Now I want you to see the difference here. And he saw Elijah no more, and then he took hold of his own clothes. He took hold of his own clothes, and he ripped them in two, like Hulk Hogan, just boom. And he says, and he also took up the mantle of Elisha that fell from him. Now, do you see that? Remember before, did you remember how Elisha gave him his mantle, or Elijah gave him his mantle in 1 Kings when he first met him? Do you remember what happened? What did Elijah do? He thrust it upon him. Y'all remember that? He threw it on him. He said, here, take this. And he said, you're my successor. I'm going to mentor you. He threw it on him. Now Elisha's gone, and the man was laying there. Elisha rips off what he had, and he had to pick up and he had to take the mantle of Elisha. Now here's where I'm going to talk to some of y'all that need to be mentored. Here's the thing. You got to pick it up. You know, there are people that want to mentor you and want to take time with you and want to invest in your life, but you know what? Just some of us ain't willing to take it. We don't want it. We don't want people to instruct us. We don't want to be told how we need to live our lives. You know how hard I know it's hard to do that. I know it's hard to take instruction. You know how hard it is when people come and tell me what I need to do as a pastor? To sit there and go, It's hard sometimes, but I need it. I need instructions. Is there anybody in here? I wish God would take over our bodies sometimes when we ask questions in church and force us to raise our hands even when we don't want to. Is there anybody in here though that would say, I've got it figured out? I know how to live life. I think for some of us, our hand would go up right now. Honestly. And you say, I'm not like that. I don't feel like that way. Okay. When was the last time you sought instruction then? When was the last time in your life that you had a situation, you had a problem going on at home or with your marriage or at your job or just your personal life? When was the last time you made a phone call to some spiritual advisor and said, what would you do in this situation? I think for a lot of us we go, I don't do that. Are you telling me we don't need advice? Are you telling me that we don't need spiritual counsel in our life at times? There's no way that's true. There's no way that we have lived as long as we have and we've just never had to come into that kind of problem. What happens is arrogance comes in, and I think just the pace of life is we got in to make a quick decision, and so we just decide something, and then bad things happen, and then we go, well, I'll just handle a bad situation now, or I'll just handle it, I'll just do everything. I'm going, yeah, but if you would listen to people, if you would take up the mantle of somebody that's trying to mentor you and just put it on, I'm telling you, life would get better. Do we want instruction? Because if we don't, then what are we even doing here this morning? I'm trying to give instruction. It feels weird. I try to preach what I feel like God says, hey, the people need to hear this. Try to give them guidance on this. If we're not here even this morning to hear guidance from me, then what are we, or from God, not me, but from God, then what are we doing? Is this not just a waste of time? If you come in here this morning and went, I've got absolutely nothing to work on today. He's preaching to somebody else. It is definitely meant for you. Go back and listen to this again. Man, we need instructions in our lives. And can I tell you something? And here's the best part about this. I love this. I think Elijah, as I look back at what happened in the story, and I keep thinking about it, why was he pushing? You know what I think he was doing? I think he was really testing Elisha if he was ready for this position. I really do. I really think he was going, I'm going to test Elisha here. I've poured into him. I've mentored him. He knows to keep pushing. He knows to keep following me. He knows to keep doing this. He knows what he's supposed to do. I have poured into him, gave him great instructions. It is time that he needs to make some decisions for himself. And so he looked at Elisha and he said, don't follow me. And in the back of his mind, when he turned around, I bet he was going, please follow me. Please follow me. And Elisha went, hey, as God lives and you live, you ain't getting rid of me. He took after him. There comes a time when, yes, the one that's being mentored, you got to make some decisions for yourself. And there's going to come a time, and this is the time that we're coming into now, a lot more than ever it seems like, is that the people that have been poured into in churches, the ones that's been mentored, that when the mentor leaves, are you ready to pick up the mantle? Like, are you ready to step into those roles? You know how many positions we have open right now at the church? And I'm not trying to plug what we got going. It's just worked out great. Yeah, 4th and 5th grade Sunday school teacher. We don't have one. It's hard for me to believe. We need people to do all kinds of different things. The problem is not that you're not able. The problem is for a lot of us, we don't want to pick up the mantle. Because we know what that's going to recognize. We know what that's going to look like when we take that on. What it looks like is this. I don't know why I closed my Bible. I'm going to attempt to read that last little bit because this is the best part. And so he took the mantle in verse 14. He took the mantle of Elisha, and that fell from him, and he struck the waters and said, where is the Lord, the God of Elisha? And when he also had struck the waters, they divided here and there, and Elisha crossed over. He took that mantle, he said, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready. He said, God, where you're at right here. And he struck that water, and what did God do? God parted that water. He gave him that double portion. He gave him that spirit on him. He parted the water, and he walked across, and he was wearing, I just imagine he was wearing this mantle. He was wearing that cloak. He had it on. And he gets back to verse 15, and he says, now when the sons of the prophet who were at Jericho opposite of him saw him, they said, the spirit of Elijah rests on Elisha. Boy, that had to feel good for Elisha. A man that was mentoring him, a man that was pouring into him, a man that had loved on him, that had took his life, part of his life, and gave to him. Now people, when they saw him, they said, hey, you know who you remind me of? Elisha, you remind me a lot of Elijah. I'm going to be really real in here this morning. There is people that's passing away as age or whatever it may be. And what's really cool is people that have spent a lot of time with them, they start looking like them. The people that they go, when you see them in funerals, or you see them at these different places, you see them in the church, you know what? They're not really dead because you see the reflection of them in other people. You see the reflections of people, and especially when it's sons and fathers all the time. You see so much of the son, or so much of the father in the son. But you know what? It doesn't have to stop in that relationship. And I'm telling y'all, there's some of y'all that when y'all die, that I hope that the spirit of so-and-so, they can go, you know who you remind me of? You remind me of this person in the church. You got that same spirit that they have. But it goes two ways there. It takes one for that person that has the spirit and has to mentor somebody, and it takes the other when they pass away and it's time for them to step up, that they step up and take that mantle and they go, I'm ready for this. I have been prepared. I have been mentored. It's time for this. I know I'm ready to do it now. I'm asking you this morning, this could be either way. Are you mentoring people? Man, are you really pouring into people? Are you taking part of your life and investing it in somebody else so that it might change who they are? And then if you've got somebody like that, are you ready to step up? I mean, just plain and simple. We got no room to continue to baby people in the faith. This world is continue to press you and press you. Listen, if you don't, you better decide if you're in the faith or out of it, because the world will let you know. It'll let you know. You can't play games anymore. You just can't come and sit in the pew and then go home. Eventually, you're going to get pressed to the point where somebody's going to say, do you love me or not? Take a stand or not. Raise your kids a certain way. Whatever it may be. I'm telling you. So this morning as we close out and Catherine comes back up, it's really simple. Really simple. The altar call this morning, I want to go a little bit different. I want it to go, I'd love for it to go like this. Maybe there's somebody in here that you love on and that you mentor and that you feel like that you need to mentor or you've been mentored or whatever it may be, maybe you need to bring them down this altar this morning and pray over them. Maybe you need to take that person that you think of and you've not told them that you see potential or you've not spoke to them and let them know, hey, I see some things in you that you can do great things for God if you would do this. Maybe you need to tell them that this morning. Christians, when was the last time you went and gave somebody an encouraging word? When was the last time that person that you saw potential in, that you went to them and said, hey, I see potential in you. I see that you can do great things for God. You know what's crazy is, when was the last time that we want our people to be pastors in the church? When was the last time you pushed for our children to go, man, I hope my child becomes a deacon. I hope my child becomes a pastor. I hope these people become servants of the Lord. I hope they get called in the ministry. I'm telling y'all, this morning what I want us to do as believers, as us that's mentoring, go grab that person, bring them down the altar, and pray with them. Let me tell you something. If you don't have anybody, you say, so I don't have anybody mentoring me, it's just me. I don't have anybody that's really took time. That's our fault, and I apologize. But can I do something? You come down and you pray, say, God, put that person in my life. Put that person in my life that I need to give me some spiritual instruction. Give me some guidance in my life. I need somebody in my life to help me along this road that I've not figured out how to live. Maybe you need to come down and pray that. Whatever your prayer is this morning, I encourage you, come down as we close out. God, we thank you so much for what you do. God, we just pray this morning, God, that you would use us, Father, fully. God, whether it's to be a mentor, Father, whether it's to take somebody on and to love on and invest in them, or God, if it's somebody, if we need to be mentored, Father, if we would just be humble and seek that out this morning, God. And when the time comes to pick up that mantle, God, help us to be ready, God. Maybe we're at that point. Maybe we're at that point of picking something up, God. We're scared, Father. God, I just pray you encourage us this morning. Love on us. God, we just thank you for all the things that you do this morning, God. Move among us, God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Let's stand.